Hey guys, I know it's been a while, but here we are, making another video, and man, I feel like it's probably been, I want to say probably maybe a year? I don't know. It's been a while since I've made a video, and I really wanted to update everybody on really where I've been, where I am, and really where I'm going, if you've watched my channel before, you probably know me as the Dizzy guy, right? I have made a string of videos previously about dizzy conditions that range all over the board with vestibular disorders, ranging from vestibular migraine to labyrinthitis to vestibular neuritis and all the itises. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, long story short, I previously had a vestibular neuritis illness hit me about 2000, I want to say 19, that completely left my life in disarray. I was dizzy for about 3 months straight, no breaks. I mean, this was like internal vertigo, and it was truly horrifying. You can watch my previous videos a little bit more to dive into that, to kind of understand what the background is, just for a little bit of context for this video. But essentially what had happened was I got stuck in this dizzy state, this vertigo state. I felt like the world was kind of tilted all the time. I felt like a hand was inside my head, jostling around and taking me for a ride, basically. And the doctors really didn't know what was wrong with me. They had done the MRIs, they had done the CT scans. I didn't really know what was wrong with me. And I knew there was something wrong with me. But no matter who I talked to, it was like they thought I was crazy until I did a little bit more research, and I realized that dizziness is like the number one most misdiagnosed thing out there. At least it's up there. The article I read at the time did say it was number one, but who knows? That was a few years ago. Could have changed. But anyway, let's act like it is and just run with that and say, even if it is the most misdiagnosed problem, you would think that medical professionals would know that, oh, there's a lot of possibilities here with dizziness that it could be, and they would float a little bit more ideas around you. But in this case, I was really kind of left in the dark until I had finally gone to an ENT that was thinking, like, you know what, I think this might be a neuritis in your ear that's popped up and caused all this vertigo, all this damage. And sure enough, I eventually got in with a vestibular clinic where they did the extensive testing. It's like 3 hours long, and they did conclude that that's exactly what had happened. And they said my posterior canal nerve in my left side was, from what they could tell, most likely damaged. And the healing process would happen, but there's a big difference between healing and feeling healed versus healing and not feeling healed. And what do I mean by that? Basically, and this kind of gets me to my whole point of today. I want to talk to you about your relationship with the pain you feel in your life. Okay, so for me, pain can't go away until you alter how you feel about your pain through changing your actual relationship with what you feel with pain. So let me say that again. Alter how you feel with pain by changing your relationship with what you feel from your pain. And you have to do that in incremental baby steps, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen, and it happens through neuroplasticity. And that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about, because the channel here so far has been completely about dizziness. But what I'd really like to do is reshape the channel to be a little bit more about managing chronic pain in general, and how does one actually heal from chronic pain. First, you have to actually understand what chronic pain is, and you really do that through understanding where is the origin point of pain. We can get injured in our arm, we can, stub our toe, and we feel pain originating from that point of origin where the pain occurred. And we think, pain is coming from the tissue, it's coming from, where I'm experiencing that injury. When in actuality, what they've found in recent years is pain's really a object orientation of inference from your brain signals. So it's a lot of jargon. What it really means is your brain sends the signals that actually make you feel pain. And the way it does that is it will experience the first injury, and then it knows to signal that pain. Well, what happens if you start always thinking you're injured? and always doing a self check-in. And you're like, am I feeling better today? Am I not feeling better today? Am I still dizzy today? Am I not dizzy today? And what you'll notice over time is your brain, you've trained it to feel pain, and it's chronic. It never ends. You go to bed, you're in pain. You wake up, you're in pain. You take a lunch break, you're in pain. You're in pain in your cubicle working. It's the type of pain that makes life not worth living, and it's heartbreaking. It's truly, unless you've been there and you've experienced it, it's very hard to relate with people going through it, and and a lot of, to get into the technicals of it, it's how we've kind of built up our response mechanisms in our head. And in order to really experience freedom again from your pain, you have to rewire those response mechanisms. And you do that through neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is really training your brain to build, okay, it's like first you get in a car, right? And the car has had some damage to it. You maybe got in an accident, okay? Well, the car might be fixed, but unless you fix everything under the hood, it's still broken, okay? So you might fix the exterior damage, but there still could be messed up wiring. So you might get in the car and you turn on the windshield wipers and the radio turns on, So the wires are all mixed up and it still thinks it's injured. And so until you fix that problem under the hood, you're going to still feel that pain. And that's really the best analogy I can give to kind of what we experience in our lives, whether that be physical pain, emotional, mental pain, trauma. Pain comes in various forms, and it all, emerges in our lives in different ways. And the best we can do at any given time is just manage it the best we can and get through it. Is kind of the way most humans kind of think when they're going through pain. I just got to get through it, But what happens when you don't get through it? What happens when you don't see an end to your pain? You start Googling and you start looking up. There's got to be an answer out there somewhere. I can't be the only one feeling this way. How do I know that? Because I did that. When I was dizzy and it wasn't going away, I'm on month 3. I'm just wanting to die at this point. And I realized, stumbling into the different internet chat rooms around things that were kind of like this, I started realizing, hey, you know what? There's a lot of other people experiencing this, and there's a lot of other people that have healed or haven't healed yet but are on their way to healing. And there's a lot of negative Nancy's out there that will be like, I've had this for years and it's never gone away. I hate life. And a lot of times you're catching them in the middle of a bout with it, and they're kind of going through a lot. And so a lot of times they aren't even in their right mind when they're posting on those sites or Facebook pages. But point being in all of this is you can get better from chronic pain. You can stop being dizzy like I did. Is there a permanent injury maybe there? Yeah. Can you manage it to the best of your abilities? Yeah. Do I have 3PD? Yeah, I do. Am I dizzy day in, day out? No, I'm very rarely dizzy. If I don't sleep for a while and I've been flying around the world and I feel sick, yeah, I'll get a bout with dizziness. Does it last very long? Not really. At the most, it will last maybe a week, maybe 2. But then I just re-practice my vestibular neuroplasticity therapy movements, and slowly but surely I rewire that system correctly, and I come out of it, and I get sleep, and I take care of my body. And so, that's just an example of how I manage it. And what you have to learn first and foremost, is you need to be sending safety signals to your nervous system. And what do I mean by that? So when people feel a lot of pain, what they're not doing is sending the proper messaging to their nervous system. They're sending cortisol. They're sending stress, danger signals, fight or flight. And they're throwing all of this towards their senses. And your internal body makeup is just freaking out. And so you create this psychosomatic response. And really, what do I mean by that is psychosomatic responses feel real. They feel 100% real. If I have a psychosomatic response that I have a stomach ache, I can talk myself into having a stomach ache, no problem. That could happen very quickly and very easily. That's just an easy example of a psychosomatic response. And so what you have to do, a lot of times psychosomatic episodes come from an original pain point. You might have gotten in a car accident and hurt your neck, and then you think you have neck pain the rest of your life. It might be dizziness. It might be you have IBS, and you always are constipated, and you never can get a break. All the psychosomatic behavior comes and goes in different ways. And what you'll notice a lot of times with folks is they might master one area of psychosomatic behavior, but then it pops up over in this other area. Or they'll develop like medical anxiety where you're scared you have a life-threatening illness all the time. And yeah, it feels okay over here today, but oh, I got something over here today. And really what that is it's an ongoing interior problem that you're not really addressing. And a lot of that kind of, that's situational for a lot of people. A lot of it can come from childhood trauma. It can come from various areas of insecurity. Basically, it is a reaction and a response to an enormous traumatic or insecure experience in your life that basically is always festered in the background. I know what mine is for the most part, but everybody's is different. And you kind of have to go on a personal journey to figure out what that looks like for you specifically. But in the meantime, what you can do is manage your pain through neuroplasticity. And you can look those different videos up online around different things. But neuroplasticity, in large part, is really rewiring the brain, right? It is the fundamental therapeutics that come into play that allow a person to heal and build new neurological pathways to respond to the injured area and heal from it, right? So for me specifically, I had the dizziness. I have a dead nerve basically in my left side that is no longer working appropriately. In order not to feel those dead signals going down that nerve and creating that dizziness feeling, I needed to rewire my brain makeup to work around that. And you're thinking, how in the world would you even begin to do that? And it's through this therapy. It's through VRT specifically here. And what is VRT? It's a vestibular rehabilitation style therapy where, for instance, I'm dizzy, so I'm going to look at the letters on the wall and I'm going to say them back and forth while I move my head. I might look down at a checkerboard, which is going to freak my eyes out with my brain, and I'm challenging my brain in different ways, building up these neurological responses that altogether, consolidatedly, basically come to an output of feeling normal again. And it's really hard to put into words what I mean by that, but they'll call it your new normal, but your new normal is normal. You feel 100% normal. So it's not like I'm over here like, oh, that I'm dizzy, but this is my new normal. No, it's like I feel normal again because your body has learned to counteract that injured area, build that new on-ramp to get around that problem. So the bridge might have, been washed away, but fear not, we built another on-ramp to get around it. And so I'm still achieving the same goal. It's just I'm doing a different way of getting there. I didn't take the highway. I took the back roads to get there this time. And the back roads become your new highway. And so it's very much like that type of mindset that gets you through the pain. It gets you through any chronic pain. And so you want to amplify the positive senses of safety to your nervous system and to your neurological pathways. And what you want to do is de-escalate your pain feedback loops. So I have anxiety. Oh, it's basically the undefined. Like, am I ever going to get better? Am I ever going to feel this way? I know that that's my pain because that is my pain. My stomach hurts right now. This is my life. It's like these feedback loops that reinforce that truth, and it reinforces that reality for you. So in order to get around that, you have to de-amplify that pain loop, and you need to amplify that sense of safety, that sense of I'm managing this, that sense of here we are, we're approaching a way to actually work around this. And yeah, did this pain happen? It did. And was it devastating? 100%. But it's not going to stop you. You're just going to get up and you're going to build a new makeup in order to manage the lack thereof. And it's that new feedback loop of positivity that culminates and gives you the actual output of feeling normal again. And I say all of this is not mumbo jumbo because I've experienced it. I'm living proof. And I would have watched this video years ago and I would have been like, something's off here. It's not right. But having lived through it now, I can honestly say, it works. You have to lean in though, and you have to believe it will work. You know, like I said, feeling better starts with understanding you. And until you understand you, you're not going to feel better. And so you need to dive in, do some soul searching, and figure out who you are and how you got here, and work backwards a little bit, in the sense that you are looking at your life and you're saying, okay, you know what? These are areas that are seriously painful for me, whether that be emotional, physical, the injury that happened that caused this. And it's coming to terms with saying, hey, that happened, but we're safe, we're good, and we're going to build a new life here. And this is not a day to mourn. This is a day to pull yourself out of the gutter, so to speak, of these negative emotions. And it's setting a trajectory that equals an amplifying output to being the best version of you, versus a negative, I'm going to never get over this output that reinforces the overall negative feedback loop. Life is a battle, and you really have to challenge yourself on all fronts. And it doesn't get easier. And when you go through huge life crises that seem to make life not even worth living, those are the moments where you got to remember videos like this and say, hey, you know what? There's a way around this. I'm going to get through this. And the reason why I'm going to get through this is because I know me, and I understand me, and I know my capabilities, and I know what I can be. And it's like, the Marine saying, be all you can be, the Marines. Well, this is be all you can be because you're you, and you know you can do it. And if you don't believe you can, then you just need to look at yourself and look how amazing you are in the mirror, that you've made it this far. I mean, you've been through a lot. You're living life, and you're getting by. And, that's not something to be taken for granted, especially for someone going through chronic pain. It's horribly hard. It's a day in and day out struggle. And what makes it even worse is people around you don't seem to ever understand that you're always in that pain. It's not like you get breaks here, and people never understand that. And it's hard. But I get it, and I see you, and the people out there that experience chronic pain see you too. And we're all here for you, and we want to see you get better. And I want to see me get better. I want to see anybody get better that goes through chronic pain. And that starts with building those neuroplasticity skill sets of therapeutics, working through your issues, both physically, mentally, emotionally. It's the trifecta. You want to amplify the health in each one of those facets that kind of culminate together and build out a healthy output. And that can look like the positive reinforcement going out in your brain signals. There's a lot of things you can do. Breathing exercises, the VRT for people that suffer with migraines or visual issues or dizziness. There's a lot of things you can do. What I would challenge you to do is Google neuroplasticity for blank, whatever that ailment is for you personally that you're going through. But all that to say, I'm going to end it here, and just, again, I want you to be the best version of you. And that starts with understanding you. And it starts also with looking into neuroplasticity therapies for whatever it is that you're going through, will actually create a new sense of being for you, a healthier version of you. And a person that will look back on their life and say, hey, you know what? That was a hurdle in my life that I got through, but you know what? I got through it. I rose above it. So take that and lean in, because you're going places whether you realize it or not. You have to. That's how life is. So hang in there, and that's all I have for this video, guys. Thanks again for sticking with me and watching it this long. I'd like to do more videos like this that kind of tackle a little bit more chronic pain and management. This is kind of an introductory video, I view this as. We'll see what the future holds here for more of these. But for now, I wish you good mental health and physical health. And yeah, I'll see you until the next video. Take care, guys.